Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. I'm just going to go through a few tips on how to build resilience. So the first one is connection, being with supportive people, not isolating. Sorry, I'm actually going to look on my phone because it's kind of small on the screen. I'm not sure if you all can see, but yeah. So in terms of connection, it's all about being with supportive people and not isolating, accepting help, joining a group that could build joy in your life. A second tip for building resilience is nurture well-being. So that's all about getting a minimum of 7 hours sleep a night, eating plenty of fruits and vegetables, exercising, and completing mindful practices such as yoga and also practicing gratitude. The second tip is all about purpose, doing service, helping others, and having a realistic goal to work towards. The last tip is having a healthy mind space. So that's all about trying some CBT techniques of meditation and accepting things that you cannot change, having a positive outlook on life, and looking at what you can learn from the past. So I'm moving on to now the 5 pillars of resilience or resiliency. So the first one is maintaining emotional stability. That's all about health and well-being, focusing outwards, having good problem-solving skills. The third pillar is focus inwards. So that's about having strong inner self. The next one is well-developed coping strategies. And the last pillar is the talent for serendipity, which is the ability to convert misfortune into good fortunes. Yeah, so the last picture on the end, again, just gives some more tips about how to be resilient. So the first one is having a sense of humor, having social support, being emotionally aware, having the ability to solve problems, being willing to be flexible and willing to adapt at the same time, having control of self, being optimistic, and having self-belief. So these are just a few tips on how to become resilient. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. So thank you for that. We're going to go over to Alex, who's going to go through our polls with us, and that will help us go through a conversation and enable us to share our thoughts on what we think about the topic of today. Alex, over to you. Yeah. Okay.
Eva, before we go, could you please repeat the pillars of, 5 pillars of, whatever? Yeah. Could Annie repeat it, please? Because it was covered with something on the screen. So.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Let me just get
5 pillars of whatever we see people or whatever resilience.
Or was it covered by something? So the 5 pillars we have, the 5 pillars of resiliency are maintaining emotional stability, health-being and well-being, focus outwards, problem-solving skills, then focus inwards, strong inner self, well-developed coping strategies. The last one was the talent for serendipity, ability to convert misfortune into good fortune. So actually, you're right. We only have 4 of them, don't we?
Yeah, talent and what? Number 4 is talent and...
Talent for serendipity.
Serendipity, what is that?
So this is it's the ability to convert misfortune into good fortune. So the ability to change things around.
Okay.
And actually, you're right, Grace. I will look for the fifth one because I think we only have 4 there. I will look for the fifth one and bring it up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
No, Eve, I think we have 5. I
We
can
have
see
5.
5 bullet points, yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad then. We have the 5. Did I miss any then out when I was reading them out?
We went to 5.
Maintaining emotional stability. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's number 1.
Yeah.
And then focus on number 2 is focus on what? Outward.
Outwards. Yeah.
Number 3 is focus on inward. What?
Yeah.
Number 4 is what?
Well-developed coping strategies.
Coping strategies. And number 5 is what?
The talent for serenity.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
From the one to serenity.
Serenity. Okay, talent for serenity. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Grace. Yes, there was 5. I think the bullet points kind of got missed out on there.
Yeah, there was one that was covered with something over there. Yeah.
It did, yeah. So number 4 was the well-developed coping strategies. That was number 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Grace.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we'll go over to Alex.
Yeah, I'll launch the poll now. So we've got 2 questions. 1, how important is positive support, network support to build resilience for our well-being? And 2, how good are we as a community at being that positive support to others?
Okay, I've got 8 out of 10, so I'll end it now. Okay. And I will share the results. So everyone is in consensus that they think that the answer to number 1 is 100%. That's really interesting. Does anyone have any thoughts about why they answered what they did? And potentially, why did everyone answer that? You know, it's very interesting.
We need each other. We do need each other, don't we? We are social beings. You cannot do it on your own. We need, support from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you need to share happiness and you need to share, sorrow and all that. You can't bottle it up. We are created like that. We are social beings. You can't isolate yourself. Whatever impacts you, impacts the other.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. So we need to support each other.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. You're right. We are social beings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And clearly, we everyone answered the same thing, so everyone is in agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't be happy on your own. You need to tell somebody, I'm happy, I've won the lottery or something. You can't, see. So when you are crying, somebody else must know. Yes. Yes. And
yeah,
it makes sense. You can't sit here and say, oh, I'm happy. And you have to tell somebody. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Does anyone else have any thoughts about question 1? How important is positive support network, support building resilience for our well-being? If not, we can move on to, Chuk.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important because as you're building connections with people, you want to be able to have that support from people as well, that to enable you to get through the things that you're going through, and especially as we've been going through the pandemic, we're having this has been like a perfect example of a support network for everybody, having the Let's Talk sessions going on throughout the pandemic to help soothe and gain and just gain that support really and camaraderie through such a difficult time. So, yeah, that was my 2 cents.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think the pandemic really highlighted to a lot of people like how important human connection is, how much we rely on it and how much we need it to you know, thrive and create connections and for our well-being. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. Lorraine, your hand is up.
Okay, I think beyond, just put that thing up. I think even before COVID, I used to do a little bit of teaching in schools, and it's not just adults, because young people, and sometimes they might be slow, you know, in their process that they have to do the work. And, you know, I used to notice that they were ignored, basically, and that would make me very, very low in spirit. And so it's not just during the COVID period, this goes on way back. So every one of us, we need that positive encouragement. I know with me, I mean, my sister talks about we can't make ourselves happy. I can make myself happy. I find something to make myself happy every day. And I try to project it onto others so that they too can experience, you know, what I'm feeling. They may not want to feel. I mean, like yesterday, I was encouraging a lady and she came on Zoom and I could sense that she was low in spirit. And by the time we finished, she told me all that was all that concerned her. And when we finished, she says to me, you know, Lorraine, I'm glad I spoke to you because my spirit has been lifted. I feel much better having spoken to you. So everyone, regardless of their progress in life, they need it. We all need it. We all need it. Yeah, so it's very, very important. Very important.
Yeah, I've been in a similar situation where you're like talking to a friend and it seems like they didn't even realize they were upset or the thing that, you know, that thing was getting to them as much as it was until they said it out loud and
that's
then
right.
you could see it. And yeah, an outlet for your feelings and you are able to process them as you're speaking them.
Yes, that's what I have to share. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, does anyone else have any thoughts on question 1? If not, we can move along to question 2, if that's good with everyone. Yep. How good are we as a community to being that positive to support to others? So interestingly, we're a bit more split on this question. So it'll be interesting to see what people's thoughts are. Some people said good and some people said not very good. But no one said not good at all. So, you know, that's good. Yeah, does anyone want to speak about why they answered what they answered?
I think
Is it because you guys are in the same room? Just make sure that you've muted your speaker as well as yourself.
Yeah. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was about to say that a lot of people, obviously a lot of us do get stuck in their own heads about our own problems and our own issues. So I think a lot of the times we're so focused on ourselves that we can't really be that positive support to others.
Right.
Oh, someone cannot hear you.
Oh. But yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Yeah, and again, like with the pandemic, I think again it was highlighted that a lot. Like we were all going through stuff. It was hard to be there for other people when you've got, you know, you've got to support yourself. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. It can be really hard to be there for other people sometimes. Yeah, does anyone else have any thoughts about why they answered what they did? Because there were more people that said not very good. So that is interesting, why that was the majority.
I think, sometimes we don't know what to do really. We're not sure whether our action will have any positive impact or whatever. Lack of confidence really, I think. Yeah, if only we take risk. We say, look, I'm going to do this anyway and see how it goes. It's better than doing nothing. You have to be confident. And sometimes you share your experience. We've been through a lot. So, your experience is not necessary for you alone. Whatever you've been through, if you share it to somebody who is going through a similar thing, may probably help. But having the courage and taking risks, yeah. We are shy, we don't want to share things. We're not sure of what actions will do and all that. If we can take risks and go for it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes it doesn't work, but if you never know if you don't do it.
Yeah, no, you're so right. Definitely. It definitely helps, someone to feel like they can speak to you when you tell them about your struggles and what you're going through. They feel like they can relate to you and they can trust you. Absolutely. I think that's an amazing point. And you see it all the time. That's the way that humans connect to each other, is opening up. And like you said, someone's got to take that first step. Someone's got to be confident and just go for it.
Yes, yeah.
That's a really good point.
Thank you. And if you just going there and being with that person and not saying anything is enough, it speaks volumes. Your presence alone, tell the person he or she matters.
Yeah. You're showing them that you're there for them.
Yeah, you are there. Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't need to say anything if they don't want to, but you're there to listen regardless.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Looking at the responses in question 1, it made me think. Question myself as to why the response for question 2 was that different. But again, hearing what Grace is saying, I totally get it. But we always say, once bitten, twice shy. It's probably based on the past experience.
Yes.
Some people will be reluctant in sharing what they need to share, and really not knowing what will happen. And many people have had issues, and so they choose to be quiet.
Yes.
But that quietness doesn't help, because we always say a problem shared is a problem half solved. But because of that past experience, which may not have been very good, we prefer to keep it to ourselves.
Yes.
Not knowing, by sharing it with somebody else, you realize actually you are even much better off. And that's where resilience comes from.
Yes.
I say something. I think pandemics creates a lot of fear among individuals and perhaps members of the community. And I think fear for, say, infecting one another, or fear of what might happen. So individuals are more concerned with their welfare more than what they can do or share with other people. And in epidemics like this one, COVID, where there was not enough knowledge on how it moves and it is spread and is contracted, I think those situations make it very difficult for community people to get together and share and help one another.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just thinking as well, like during the pandemic, when we couldn't see each other, it was, you know, it's not like we didn't want to see each other. Of course, that's obvious, but it was out of love that we didn't see each other. You know, the amount that you care about the people around you, you don't see them, and it you know, it shouldn't make sense, but it did. Yeah. Lorraine, your hand's been up for a while. I'm sorry. Would you like to speak now?
Not to worry. I understand what Cicely says about once bitten, twice shy. Some months ago, I shared something with an individual, and I did not expect it to get as far as it got. And there were wrong decisions made. And when I spoke to one of the individuals about it, and he said to me, okay, Mrs. Mitchell, we'll do X, Y, Z. And I had to say to him, if you do, I will go and see my solicitor. And straight away he said, all right, we won't. And I said, thank you very much. So we're here and we're talking, we're sharing, and indeed we're thinking whether to comment or, you know, what to say. And I think it's because of past experiences. And I do believe that people can be very partial as well in treating one situation different from they treat another because it's coming from X or Z or whatever. You know, so yeah, we do think before we share at times, and it's because of past experiences. But as I said, I had to say to the individual, I said, if you do that, I will go and see my solicitor. And I am glad I took that line, because if I didn't, it could have been so serious, you know. So I believe that that's why we hesitate, we think, but I think that the first and the second question, they have connections. They have connections. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like what Grace was saying, you know, like when we open up to someone, we are taking a risk.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just seeing the question from Julia. When you said to text the question, do you mean into the chat, the questions on the poll, or was that in reference to when Kasia was speaking? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll type that now. Sorry, I didn't see your message. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, but if anyone else wants to share their thoughts while I'm typing, you know, that's fine.
What I can add to all that is that positive networks, there are quite a number of research out there to evidence that they contribute to, you know, resilience, which is a great, which then leads to promoting or boosting our well-being. And also, if you think about positive networks, you're thinking of it also addresses loneliness and isolation. So really all that combined, you can see why the outcome is that boost of well-being, which is brought about by the resilience that we all have. If you think about the images that were on the slides, you know, a very healthy looking tree growing in the middle of the water on a bent trunk. I mean, anybody would assume that that tree would die, but it was thriving and flourishing. Why? It's because it was depending on water, I mean the water surrounding it. There was then the image of people, you know, a few people walking along a bridge, but trying to help each other. So you can imagine if each one of them was walking without anybody else's support, they would all be on the ground. And that is the power of working together or supporting each other. But that support must be meaningful, positive, if it has to lead to, that boost of well-being. Back to you, Alex, or anybody else.
Yeah, if anyone else would like to speak, that would be good. I'm still typing. I'm almost done there.
Okay. Our experience with the pandemic has actually proved how communities work well together. But I always say it doesn't have to take a problem or a pandemic to prove that we are all together or we are working together. So it's even in good times that we need to be fully connected. So that means celebrating other success as well as helping them achieve their purpose. Yeah, and that purpose is one of the pillars of well-being. So thank you, Anne, for leading that very well for us. So once we understand those pillars, then we'll be well positioned to support each other and to achieve that.
10:12.
Any other contribution out there? What are your experiences in this?
Excuse me, can I say something?
Oh yes, Grace. How are you, Grace?
I'm good. It's Grace Powell here. I'm listening to the questions, and I haven't put an answer in, not able to today. However, when I listen to what you were saying about community and how good is it to have community support and the response for that, I would like to say that without a good community support around us, at the time when our resilience is low, we do not have the capacity to bear it up. Someone earlier said that we cannot do it alone. Everybody has to smile and to share. Well, in the same way, doesn't matter, because one of the first things that hits you when you're resilient to whatever it is that is attacking you or going on in your life is fear. But if you have a community, a strong people around you, and within that community, you would have developed friendships, fellowships, and you know those who are confidential, who will not sort of take what you've said and spread it to the nation, as it were. And when that is all built up, then we can be assured of that trust, that community spirit, whereby we become more resilient and are able to go through what we have. And if we have that ability to be a confident, to be somebody who can share, express it and share it within the community, that people get to know you, that you have that ability. And that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, very powerful, Grace, there. And this is the power of the community, sharing good and bad things. Yeah, and this is when we realize what talents or what skills are out there that we can utilize for the best interest of the whole community.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I was just thinking as well about the importance of community. One of our most important, one of the most important parts of ourselves is identity. You need to feel like you belong to something. And when you don't feel like you belong to something, you'll seek anything out, and it can result in, all kinds of problems, bad mental health, and ending up with, the wrong group, or, just having low self-esteem, anything really. People will seek out a group if they don't feel like they're a part of one. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else has mentioned that and I missed it, but yeah, I think that is a vital part of at least the first question one. Community is, incredibly important to your well-being, feeling like you belong. Does anyone else have any thoughts? Oh yeah, Grace.
Alice, yeah, you are right. When I joined this fest, I felt I belong to this group. I mean, even though it's online, I said this is where where I belong. You know, I felt at ease. I could relate to everybody, and you know, I felt, you know, I'm home.
Yeah.
Certainly. You may be laughing, but you know, that's what I said first. So I told everybody at check that, you know, I belong to this group. So there were things that I was canceling just to come, you know, to attend. You know, there's some sense of belongingness in the group. And, you know, I don't want to miss it. And when I'm sending invites, I send it around. You know, if all those people who receive my invite will attend, we won't have spaces for them, you know, because I'm so passionate about this group. You know, I enjoy it and I feel I belong to this place. And so doing it ever since I joined, it's almost 2 years now. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the sense of belonging is so powerful. It's so powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, that feeling's so important.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, you can see what happens when people don't feel like they belong somewhere.
There's some emptiness there.
Yeah.
And they look as well to fill that gap, you know, fill the emptiness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Grace, thank you for sharing that, and you know, that sense of belonging, because you went on to share with other people that are known to you, and you brought them in, and there is joy in that. You know, that's one of the 5 ways to well-being that we keep talking about. When you share, you feel good about it, and especially when you see others benefiting much more than you expected. But if you didn't know about it, you would have nothing to share with them. And so that is the power of these connections, but they must be positive.
Yes.
Thank you. Absolutely. If anyone else has any thoughts on the polls, now would be the time to share them. If not, we will move on. Yeah, that was a really great conversation about the questions. Okay, I will stop sharing the polls now. Okay. Shaz, would you like to speak now? And do you have any thoughts to share about the conversation so far?
Let me just unmute myself. There we go. I think now than ever since the pandemic, it is really important that we have a community where we belong, because some of us might not have lots of family around us. Some of us just be new in town. So it's nice to know that you can belong to a community just because of, you know, the increase of loneliness and isolation. And not being able to see family or friends. And I mean, now that things are getting a bit easier, but we've got to remember that we still have to be safe and, you know, to protect others who are vulnerable. So yeah, it's interesting, and thank you for letting me come today. And obviously I know Cecily from a long time, since I moved to Reading. So I work for Healthwatch. I don't know if many people have heard about Healthwatch. We are a local charity, an independent charity that campaign for better health and social care. So we're like a health watchdog. So if anyone in the community who lives in Reading has an issue with their GP surgery, or like they've been to a hospital appointment that they didn't feel like went very well, they could come to us and we can support that individual, either resolving it, or if they feel like they want to make a complaint, we can support them. We have advocates who work with us. So that's what we do. The other things that we do is we do a lot of project work in the community. And we've just finished a project on why so many people are not taking up the COVID vaccine, to get people's opinions and thoughts on what they think. And we've just we've done a survey, obviously, and we've done the survey in many different languages because we wanted to reach as many people as possible. So that report will be coming out in April. What I'll do is I'll put our link on the direct message for everyone. So if everyone's interested, they could have a look at what we do, because there's lots of information on there on our website. And we just try to keep the general public up to date with what's happening with COVID, what's happening with local health, hospital, all sorts of information. We're very, we have a Twitter page, we're on Instagram, Facebook, so people can get in touch with us by phone, which will come to me, or through our info box, which I also look after. So yeah.
Amazing. That report sounds incredibly interesting. I would love to read that once it's out. Did you say April?
April, but there's a little mini summary report at the moment on there. And I think it was like 80% of people of Reading think just, you know, they're just not sure about what side effects that the vaccine would have on them. So that's why they didn't take up the vaccine. But yeah, there's a little snippet of that. I'll put that little article on the web chat for everyone to see. But yeah, it's been difficult not to be. I mean, the first time I went into the community was on Saturday. I went to a Southcott Wellbeing event. I don't know if anyone else was there. It was advertised by Reading Borough Council, and that's the first time I've actually seen people that I haven't seen in 2 years face to face. So it was just amazing to see people face to face after, like, well, not seeing anyone for 2 years, and plus I was self-isolating for a long time. So yeah, it was just nice to be out there. So we are looking forward to doing more outreach work and being out in the community. Yeah,
because that kind of resource sounds amazing. I think a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Chuk was talking about his podcast on a similar thing, where you were talking about like educating people on how to access certain healthcare and things and things like that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Like that, those kinds of resources, so important.
I mean, it is. A lot of people still don't know what their rights are. You know, people still think that you can't register with a GP without ID, but that's totally false. You can go into a surgery and not have you know, like a bill or something, and still register. So a lot of people still don't know those sort of things that are really important, and that we advocate highly on for people's rights about health and social care.
Yeah, it's such important information that so many people are missing. So yeah, it sounds amazing that like so many people in this community that we have care about this topic and are spreading that information. Yeah, that's really amazing.
Thank you.
I'll let, and as well, you probably know we have journalists that work here. I'll let them know about your work, because I think they could definitely write an article on the report that you're.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Yeah.
Because it's as well, it's specific to Reading.
It is. Yeah. It was only for Reading people, and we wanted to capture those voices who probably didn't have a way to, you know, capture those voices. So that's why it was really important for us to sort of tap into people with different languages who had language barriers. And so we wanted everyone sort of involved and give their opinion on what were their fears and concerns, and is there any way that we could sort of resolve it, because Reading does have a very low uptake of vaccinations, especially especially in the ethnic community. And what are those fears, and is there any way that we could do any myth busting or anything like that?
Yeah, sort of like seeing what the barriers are, as you said, and trying to think of ways to get around that, or like share the right information so that people aren't as worried.
I mean, I'll put all the information up on the web chat, so please feel free, everyone, to have a look. If you need to get in touch with us, our information is there. My number's there's a mobile number, and that mobile number will come straight to me, and I work pretty much every day. So if anyone has any questions, any queries, or just wants to give feedback, you know, please feel free to let us know.
I remember, is your logo the one with the like the sort of quotation-y mark, not quotation, like the apostrophe kind of shapes, and it's like pink and green? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, when I started uni at Freshers, we had we all got given a card, with and it had a list of like all the medical services in Reading and stuff. That was so helpful. I had that pinned on my board.
That's so nice to hear it, Alexandra, because we try to go to Freshers every year because it's so important to let the students who are coming into Reading, to let them know where they can access healthcare and COVID information, and where can they go to the dentist. And it's lovely to meet lots of different students there, and it's always a great event.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so helpful because otherwise, especially when you're a fresher and you arrive and you've got so much else to think about, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I've got to, you know, think about where I'm going to go, you know, where's my GP going to be, where's my dentist, like, and you're alone for the first time, and you've got to think about these things.
I know. I wish they did that when my son went off to university last year. He was so ill, and I think it was like the freshers flu and partying, and he got so ill, and he didn't. I had to sort it out. I had to find him a walk-in centre to go and get treatment. So but you know, we try to. I mean, as time goes on in Reading, and there'll be more events and things like that, we'll be more present. And you know, our information line is always open, so people can always email, phone us with any queries or anything that they want to find out what's going on in Reading.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, speaking of the walk-in centre, when we used to have one in Reading, that was so helpful. I really miss it.
We have campaigned to keep that walk-in centre open, only because it helps a lot of people in the community, because what they're finding out now is because there's no walk-in centre, people are just going into A&E.
Right, yeah, that's a good point.
So A&E is now being full, whereas maybe some of the issues could have been dealt with the walk-in centre instead of
definitely
going into A&E. So
I've definitely been in scenarios where I would have gone to the walk-in centre, but instead I've had to call 111, for example, and 111 is already pretty flooded, and so I can see that being a problem.
But you know, the general consensus of when I spoke to the people at that event on Saturday, and I don't know how everyone feels about this on this panel, but people are finding it very difficult to get GP appointments and a dentist. Dentist seems to be the main issues. So I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are, but GP appointments are trickling through, not too bad, but dentists seem to be just like no one's. I mean, I've had a broken tooth for 2 years, so I haven't been able to get a dentist, you know, so it's been a huge issue. And we're trying to, I'll be doing a piece of work actually this week, because I did do it a couple of months ago, trying to rig all the dentists up to see if they're taking NHS patients at the moment, or are they doing emergency treatment, like a one-off treatment. So if you have an infection, are they still seeing like one-off patients? So so do let us know.
That it makes a lot of sense as well, because of course with the pandemic, it's like no one was having even their like standard checkups. So now suddenly there's a load of people that just need all kinds of different appointments that haven't had them, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's a very sudden influx of people and getting clogged. Yeah, that does make sense. Hopefully you find some good information about that.
Yeah, so that will probably be shared on our website as well once we finish the work and things like that. So yeah, busy.
Yes. Yeah, but yeah, important information to have. Absolutely.
Chas, it's always very, very useful to have you to bring that, very useful information there. And I know you do all this in an effort to narrow the health inequalities gap.
Yeah.
Given the complex nature in which NHS works.
Yeah.
And it's very timely because next Thursday we have the Health Equalities Conference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which really speaks a lot on most of the things that you have shared there.
Okay.
So it would be nice to have you there, and even going forward to have, more of you here, because
this is the plan. We were sort of, because we're quite thin on the ground at the moment. There's not many of us in the group, the work team, and so we had a bit of a chat, and we said even if we alternate one person at a time who comes to these meetings, because it's so important for us to know what's going on within the community. And I'm quite lucky because I live quite near the community centre, so I know the Oxford Road quite well, and the people who live around here and all the businesses. So I always make sure that I go and have a chat to people and know what's in my community. So it's really important for us to sort of touch base as an organisation and let people know that we are here for people to come to us, and if people have any concerns about health or social care, that we are here happy to help with anything that you might struggle with.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's important you've touched on the dentist, because most of us here in the forum have an episode with the to that in one way or the other, and the experience has not been great.
Yeah.
So having to go private, for the money that is not there, has not been one of the experiences. So
it's very tricky, because when I did ring up the dentist, if they're not seeing any NHS patients, but they are seeing private patients. So if you have the money, but who has the money these days with rising costs, fuel, food, everything's going up. I've had council tax bills that have gone, it's just ridiculous. Who's got extra money to spare on dentists? And as soon as you walk through the dentist, they're so cheeky. They'll give you 100 problems with your teeth. And I just think, oh, take them out and I'll have dentures instead. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
So yes, it's useful to know that as a community we can complain, we can suggest, we can give ideas, we can have that voice listened to, and that is why, as I believe in the community wellbeing hub that Alex and the team are working on through ACRE. It's all about having a voice. And actually it says, me too, I have a voice, but who listens to it? And how is it listened to? And what happens after somebody listens? And it's just important to know that you are there as a service to take up most of those ideas, thoughts, and complaints that you bring up.
Yeah.
It's all about building resilience, a great way to do that. So if it's okay, Alex, I'm going to share the video clip so that we can reinforce the ideas that have already been brought up and thoughts, and then we can, think about more of them. And I see James is with us now. You crown it out for us. But let me share the short video clip.
People say, think positive, get your head in the game, have a healthy attitude. People say, think positive, get your head in the game, have a healthy attitude. What does it even mean? To explain, let's take something we all know, like a phone. They're getting smarter, just like you. And as the adverts keep telling us, everything about them is connected, which Which is true, everything is connected. Your physical, your mental, and your emotional health and well-being. All of them affecting each other and affecting you. Life's about finding balance. But how do we even do that? Well, the first bit's obvious. You've got to have charge. Sleep is essential for your body and brain to rest, regulate, and repair. About 9 hours to be properly charged up. Good morning. Next up, a phone is meant to be used for communication, sharing. Sharing and talking help staying connected. We're the same. Life's so much better when we're connected to our friends, family, and community. Your attitude will also improve when you learn and achieve new things. Set yourself a goal. Be faster, jump higher, expand your grasp of a new subject, or master the art of pancake flipping. There you go. You'll surprise yourself with what you can do and the feeling of reaching your goal, like the tastiest pancakes. When it comes to emotions, don't repress it, express it. Get creative and explore those feelings through art, music, whatever. If it all gets too much, remember to be present in the moment. Shut off the what ifs and distractions. Take some time to just be. So when you put it all together, getting in charge, staying connected, setting goals, expressing yourself, and knowing when to take time out, you'll find that you're a lot more protected against the bumps and knocks of life. So you can carry on being awesome.
Ooh, I must admit that was quite busy. a lot of useful information there, but let's hear what you think about it.
Well, I was surprised that she said we should have 9 hours of sleep a day. I mean, that doesn't happen for me, but yeah, I will make a more conscious decision to just take a break from everything around me. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that as well. I always thought 9 hours was too much. So yeah, I guess it also just does depend on the person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We often hear of 8 hours, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What about the children? Do the children need the same as adults?
I think children need more sleep.
Yeah,
or at least younger
do.
people, teenagers and things need more sleep. And then as you get older, you just require less sleep naturally.
But sleep is so important, just for the mind and soul, because if you don't have enough sleep, it's very hard to concentrate on what you're doing the next day or to function. I mean, I've had sleep deprived. I suffer from insomnia, and sleep has got better. But when I don't sleep, I'm just tired. I can't function. I eat more. I don't eat the right stuff. I eat all the bad stuff, because your body craves all carbs and salty food and things that are not good for you. So
you
sleep,
need the energy, probably.
Yeah, you need there. It probably is energy. So I think sleep is really important, and for us to sort of have that environment where you can just shut down when you're not looking at a phone or a screen or something. It's that space should be calm without any sort of other interactions like having a phone or TV.
Yeah, I don't remember where I read this, but I think I read it yesterday, that if you have a bath an hour before sleep, or if you're just relaxing, in other words, you're more likely to have a better sleep. You'll sleep longer, have a more restful sleep than if you're looking at screens and things. And I thought that was interesting. Good advice as well. Yeah,
I think society. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Cecily.
I was just about to say, it's no wonder babies are bad before going to sleep.
Yeah, it counts them. Yeah, bedtime routine. Bye.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, what were you going to say, Annie?
Oh, I was just going to say that society places a lot of emphasis on doing everything but sleeping. So, for example, working, earning money, spending time with friends. I mean, there are so many songs about working, like work. I'm not going to sing about, but yeah, for example. So, and there's even a phrase which says, sleep is for the dead. I'm not sure if any of you have heard that, but yeah, we shouldn't go according to what society says.
Yeah, it's like, what's it called? Hustle culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sleep is important, and we're not just, you know, we're not just robots here to earn money and nothing else.
Yeah.
Need sleep.
We don't give sleep a priority.
Yeah.
We plan our dates and do everything, but we don't plan for sleep. we think it's, we can just go to bed and sleep. Yeah, it should be number one on that list. Because during sleep, the body recharges itself. The body repairs itself. We go run like a headless chicken.
Yeah.
we don't sleep. We stay awake watching all these things and be on this whatever. It should be a priority. We have to plan for it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a routine with your sleep and like your, like, not even necessarily the sleep, but like the pre-sleep, like the bedtime routine.
That's
preparation.
We teach mothers to do that. They must have a routine, otherwise we won't achieve anything.
Yeah, I found it interesting in the video that we just watched. Literally the first thing that they go on to is sleep. Like that is the foundation for your well-being and your health. Like step one, good sleep.
There was I'm sure a mention of the word culture here, and we know culture plays a very important role in so many things. But we know most of us have grown up being told that you should not sleep but work hard.
Yeah.
Culturally, you're supposed to work hard, and sleep is condemned. So if one has grown up in such kind of an environment, it would be very good. Would be a little bit difficult to convince them otherwise.
Yes.
But once you've gone through, you are well informed in matters of well-being. You understand how important sleep is. In other words, not too much and not too little of it. So temperance. There must be that balance. And how do you measure that balance? Do you wait for your body to tell you now it's too much? For some people, it may be more than maybe 15 hours of sleep. There you go, Alex.
We associate sleep with laziness. You don't want to work and do the housework and
Yes. And so when you get into such the environment we are in, the country we are in, where there is 24 you work day and night, it's an opportunity to be productive throughout. But actually the impact on your body is quite, the opposite. So importance of educating ourselves in this matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So many times during uni, I would absolutely put sleep as like the most minimal of priorities, like below everything else. If I had an exam or a deadline, like an imminent deadline, I just wouldn't sleep. And so many people around me would be like, "You're crazy, like why are you doing that?" But I'd be like, "No, this is the most important thing." But I was wrong. I was wrong. That's not good.
Yeah, and we still find most university students sleeping, they sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And in the morning they are expect them to be in a lecture room.
Yeah.
So where is the balance there?
Yeah, I only slept before one of my exams the entire time I was at uni. Because like you said, I'd, otherwise I'd be going to sleep at like 4, waking up at 8 for my exam. I was like, I'm just not going to sleep. I'll feel it doesn't make a lot of sense now, but I would feel more refreshed if I just didn't sleep, because otherwise I'm going to be so tired in the exam. It's not great logic, but
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah, I did what I did.
Yeah, but some of us who have done night duty as nurses, it's difficult, sometimes to sleep during the day and impact on our health and that sort of thing. Yeah, because when you're on duty during the night, you have to stay awake.
Yeah.
All that. And during the day, it's difficult with sunlight and people going up and down and all that.
Yeah, people are very loud during the day, I've noticed.
They are.
Music and all, yes. Oh, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then to the sleep, the clip also talked about attitude.
Yes.
Attitude. Attitude is a very small. I mean, it's a one word that means so much to our well-being.
Yes.
Depending on the attitude you have, positive or negative. And it's one that we need to educate ourselves so much in, because it is the attitude which will impact on the outcome of the poll. The question 2. Attitude will impact on it so much, depending on which one we take, positive or negative. And that has huge impact on our well-being. And the reason why perhaps many people will not want to share much is because of the attitudes they have been shown by others, or they have shown others. Yeah, so then it goes back to the individual person on, to reevaluate themselves, or to re-examine or examine themselves into how they deal with matters, or rather what their attitude is like when it comes to how they relate with others, or even with things, food, exercise, and everything else. What kind of an attitude do you have, and how does that impact on your well-being?
Yeah.
I just thought the clip talked a lot about it. So it's all these small things that perhaps you don't factor in when it comes to thinking about our well-being.
Yeah, I don't know if this is necessarily the point that they were making in the video. And of course, having a positive attitude is important and can help a lot. But I think it's also important to bear in mind that there is such thing as like too much. If you put too much pressure on yourself to be positive all the time, you're not going to let yourself feel those negative emotions, you know what I mean? Like it's something that's talked about a lot with like body positivity. When you put so much emphasis on like loving yourself no matter what, it can make people feel really guilty when they don't. So now people are sort of moving more towards like body neutrality, just thinking of yourself realistically and thinking my body does what it is meant to do. It serves me in the way that it's meant to, it functions, it gives me all these amazing things, sort of being realistic about life. And of course, positivity is great. It's all good. I don't want to say that it's a bad thing, but I think there is room for, that more like realistic sort of approach so that you don't feel that guilt when you're not perfect at all times. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I haven't come across this unless body neutrality. It must be new. So can you expand on it a bit more?
So it's sort of like, body positivity is sort of, telling yourself that you look amazing, you look good, you're everything that you need to be, kind of thing. And body neutrality is sort of like, I can walk, my legs can take me places, and I'm able to run, I can do all these things. Or like my eyes, like I'm able to see, I can observe the world and it's beautiful. Those types of things, like just sort of appreciating literally what your body does and appreciating that like gift that it is, instead of being like, I love the way I look, like, you know, I look so nice. It's more like I'm doing what I need to kind of thing. So you don't feel as guilty when you don't feel amazing about yourself.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it has a good place in the world at the moment, I think, because a lot of people do feel guilty.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So like, you know, there's a negative there, but you turn it into positive, that sort of thing. You know, instead of doing something about the negative, you are going around and saying, oh, I'm good, you know, I look good.
Yeah. So like if you were feeling self-conscious about something, instead of being like, no, you look good, it's sort of, and like making yourself go into this spiral of why do I feel that way? You're sort of like, no, it does what it needs to.
Yeah, you have to be realistic and deal with it. Yeah. Yeah, don't come up with
definitely great conversation, great conversations. But let's invest in positive support networks to build our resilience in order to boost our well-being for health and wealth that we are all looking, you know, towards. So next week is Health Inequalities Conference, exactly what we've been told here by Esash. And I believe it will be a big conference. So please invite a friend, send the link to some somebody that you know, so that we make it, you know, we make the best use of it. We'll have a number of services represented. Let's plan questions to ask them. The theme is meaningful. What does meaningful engagement mean to you? Yeah, so let's get questions right so that we get the answers that you need.
Yeah, will it be on this platform?
Yes.
Same, right, okay, wonderful. Can I come, your hair looks great, eh? You look
Thank you.
That is lovely.
Thank you, Grace. You've made my day.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Yeah, enjoy.
Thank you. And James, over to you.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I think the language or the word for this call has been sleep. And I think we've shared so many very good insights, and also problem about sleep. We've been shared as well. And also we had a lot of opportunities from a lot of people, including Grace, how to go about it. And she was talking about good habits. And Alex also was talking about body neutrality or mind neutrality, as we call it in talking therapy. Basically, what I would like to start up with, we're really around stress itself and how do we become resilient when we have stress. I think we all do experience stress. If you can recall, even recently or recent past, or maybe 2 weeks ago or whatever, there's been constant stress coming in our life, going away without even, sometimes we don't even notice. Some of them we do. Those that we notice cause us a lot of problems. So it's really important to look how you deal with it. And we all have learned different methods or techniques or ways to deal with stress. Could be culturally based, and can also be something that you've learned from your environment, or maybe university, or from your parents, or from friends. So we do learn a lot how to deal with stress. Actually, what happened to the body when we are stressed is the body hold tension. We begin to feel that tenseness. That's why we don't relax sometimes. We're very much on the go, but we don't know what is happening. You feel a bit distance from your thoughts or things around you. You are completely aloof. So that's really the body telling you, I'm really struggling here, I'm tense. And we can see how sleep can also be a problem, because when we are stressed, the thoughts become very rapid. And I think when we look at the clip that Cecily presented, and Cecily mentioned, there's so much in this clip. There was so much happening. I mean, imagine your body undergoing such a massive bombardment of issues. And for those who did chemistry, when they talk about bombardment of chemicals, just beating against each other, that's how stress can do to your body. And you begin to hyperventilate. You don't even know what is happening. Maybe your breathing is maybe faster or slower, and that gas is changing, the oxygen and all of those things can cause you a lot of problems. So it's really important to begin to listen to your body. And I think that's what Alex was talking about, having that body neutrality. Are you able to pick up on messages that your body's sending to you? I'm tired. Really, I don't need you to drag me to this meeting. I'm tired. You've been up and down, you haven't slept, and you haven't rested. So, and that imbalance of that gas can also fuel the stress as well. So it's really important to see how you take a step back and maybe meditate, relax a little bit, and maybe if you can do any relaxation practice, or what are your grounding techniques, if I may ask? How do you ground yourself? I mean, we grew up listening, oh, you are grounded by our parents. What does that mean to us? When you are grounded, what are the parents going to achieve? They just need to slow down a little bit. I mean, go to your room, sit down, be calm. That's really what that means. But we think that it's punishment. So when we grow up, we begin to dislike grounding sound of it. When I heard about grounding when I was growing up, maybe at 2, that was like punishment. My mom said, go away, go to your bedroom. You are grounded for 2 weeks. What does that mean? So let's look at it positively today in terms of how do we continue to use the grounding techniques in our lives. And then when we move on to something else, I know I have time, we need to look at how do we understand our thought processes. Thinking that you are not good enough, I don't think it's a fact, but it's a process. Thinking that you are rubbish, I don't think it's a fact, but it's a process. Thinking that somebody else is better than you, it's not a fact. Thinking that you are a failure is not a fact, but we do harbor them constantly. When something happens, for example, you go for an interview and then you don't get a job, your mind goes straight to, I'm a failure. I'm rubbish. I'm not better than the one that got the job. But that's not fact, because you must have got a lot of other techniques, other qualities that you're not aware of. But that simple, single incident can blind you. So we need to look at our blind spot as well as we go along. So feeling and thoughts are strongly linked. When we feel, we do it. And when we think, it can affect our emotion, for example. And I can give you a typical example. There were 2 guys who met in a very busy street. They knew each other before, and one actually greeted the other one. The one didn't, because probably he didn't see his friend coming from the other part of the road, and he walked past. And this guy that saw him and greeted with no response went home thinking that maybe I'm a bad friend. Maybe he's ignoring me. Maybe he's very snobbish. I mean, imagine. Those thoughts were not fact, because he had not had any time to prove them, because he didn't talk to the friend to know what was going on. So eventually he went home angry, disturbed. Imagine. He was actually going to work. He actually went to work late. Even when he got to work, his day was completely spoiled because of that thought that my friend ignored me. I greeted, he or she didn't see me or ignored me completely. Until later time, he sat down to really begin to think, maybe let me call my friend and check what was going on. Only when he called, that was the time he knew that this friend has lost a family member and was completely preoccupied. So you see, these are the thoughts that sometimes we get. Your friend has not called you, but you haven't called back to check why. Maybe he's got COVID, he's unwell, or he's gone on a trip, or even his mobile is not working. Maybe his network has been completely stopped. So it's really important to try to check on those things. So the stronger our emotion, the more likely our thinking will be affected. So that goes without saying. That's the reason why it's really important to understand what your emotion is at that particular point in time. What is the low mood about? What is the anxiety about? So quickly, just to get to the time, it's really by listening to our automatic thoughts, which is what I've explained between those 2 guys. The thoughts the guy went with, which was negative, was automatic. There's no effort. It just comes up. And maybe everybody here must have experienced it. So these are automatic things. So when we take our thoughts or when we challenge it. For example, what is the evidence that my friend ignored me? What is the evidence that I'm a failure? What is the evidence that I'm not good enough? It can actually help us. So basically, it's really changing the thoughts by challenging it. And I've always come up with some methods. One I would like to share with you would be using the 3 C's. You need to catch your thoughts. You need to really check it out. What is it about? And then change it to something positive, because that will help you. And if I bring that to our topic of the day, which is sleep, people we are talking about sleep, tired, and things. Let's look at the difference between tired and rested. When we are rested, we've had a good night's sleep. And a good night's sleep is not really about the duration, it's about the quality. And the range of data, 7, 8, 9, 6, whatever. If you are sleeping 5 hours per night, but you feel rested the next day, for me, it's a good sleep, as long as it's consistent. And that's the reason why somebody said, when I don't sleep well, I eat junk food, because that's emotional response to being tired. Because you want your body to have petrol or diesel. I know diesel and petrol are quite expensive now, but sometimes we go for chocolates. We go for any carb-related food. So that's the example few of you gave, that sometimes when I feel tired, this is what I do. But when you feel rested, you don't go for those things because your body is okay. So it's really important to measure, to understand when you are tired, what is your emotion? What is your behavior? What are you doing when you're tired? And how are you experiencing your body? Is your body anxious, restless, pacing? You know, what is it about? And those are the things that will drive you to eating emotionally or comforting yourself, thinking that I'm okay, you know, because you want to keep on going. But when you feel rested, also it's important to check what the emotions are, what your thoughts are, what your body is telling you. Your body will feel okay. And finally, my only tip is really having a meaningful routine. And to have routine is not easy. But I want you all going away today thinking, what routine can I put in my sleep? So let's take that as an assignment or homework, because I will be checking on this. And you will begin to see the difference. The time you go to sleep, you don't have to feel sleepy to go to sleep. And the bed is to sleep. It's not somewhere you go and begin to open your emails or text somebody or wait for a text that you are waiting for. Because some of us spend a lot of time waiting. Oh, my friend hasn't texted me. They haven't messaged me. And then boom, you get a message that is going to keep you awake. Why wait for it if it's going to keep you awake? So it's really important to have a routine that might stop you. And just stop, invite sleep. How do we invite sleep? Not with our mobiles, our gadgets, not about bright light or music, maybe just trying to calm the mind, cut off from all the worries, because nothing will change if you don't sleep. Because you can't keep away to solve the problem, because how many problems have you solved by staying awake? Tell me, anybody. So you don't. So you sleep, you are rested, the next day you'll be able to tackle those problems really with good energy, good momentum, and good motivation. On that note, I would like to thank you all, but please check your sleep routine and try to inject a little bit of routine in your sleep. And bear in mind, sleep is one of those qualities that can actually enhance the quality of your life, because sleep can actually enhance rewarding life, can make you flourish, can make you thrive. I'm not saying survive, but thrive in whatever you do, whether you're a student or a housewife or a nurse or anybody. Sleep is good for all of us. So on that note, I want to thank you all, and I will see you next week.
Oh, James, I just had a question about the C's. What were the first two? One of them's check, but I didn't remember which.
The first one is to catch your thoughts. Just like they have catch the virus, is the first one. Catch your thoughts. What is it?
Yeah.
Is this thinking telling me that I'm not good enough, or I'm a bad friend, or I'm a rubbish friend? That's the thoughts. And then you check it out. Is it really true? I mean, am I really a bad friend? That's how you check it out. just like you go to your checkout point to get your goods. And then the final one is change it, because that's not you. Just because failing one exam does not mean you are a failure. So that's how you change it. That, hang on, I don't think I'm a failure. Just like those two friends. So the gentleman thought that, hang on, I need to support my friend rather than, ignoring him because he's not somebody, So that's how you change it.
Well,
thank you so much, James.
You're very welcome.
I need this a lot. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Wonderful. I need this a lot. Yeah.
Back to you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, James. That was really helpful. Cecily, are we wrapping up now?
Yeah, we are finishing. And just tell us about the drop-in and other services there.
Oh yeah, I did want to mention at some point that we have our coffee morning every Tuesday. I think 11:30 till 1, and you're all welcome to join if you're free. Usually James is there, and if not, we have tea and coffee, and we usually play some sort of game, bingo. I think we're playing something else this week or next week. I think we have gardening on Fridays, and yeah, our weekly conversations every Thursday, of course. We've got gender-based violence training, not this week, but next week, I think. And everyone's welcome to that.
Tomorrow, 25th.
Sorry? It's tomorrow? Oh, it's tomorrow.
Is it online?
Yeah, it's online.
Do I have the,
It's online, and I believe Eva has been registering people, so you get the link.
I haven't got it. She mentioned it last time, but she hasn't sent it to me.
Okay, I'll ask her about that and get it sent to everyone. And if there's anyone else that wants to join, now's the time to say.
What time is it? What time are you doing that?
Sorry, what was that?
What time is it on?
11:30 to 1:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Alex, I would like to join. I sent you an email yesterday.
Oh yeah, I think Eva did add you, Annie.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I mentioned that you wanted to join.
Yeah.
I can invite as well.
Yeah. I'm just gonna write these down so I don't forget.
So send me the link and put my name down, please.
Yeah.
Later. I think Rachel as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Rachel also.
Writing down so that no one gets left out. And then I'll ask Eva to send everyone the link. Invite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've got, like Cecily mentioned earlier, the Health Equality Conference, and then that's the one that's not this week but next week, right? I think we've got them mixed. Yeah.
So please invite somebody else out there, because we'll be discussing the very things, some of the things Sash mentioned, and it's important to have a voice in that.
We also have our climate change pop-up stall this weekend on Saturday, 11 till 12, and then again 4 till 5. So if anyone wants to pop in, meet us in person, hear a bit about our project and what we're doing, that would be great. We'd appreciate the support. But yeah, I think that's everything. Unless I'm missing something, I think we're good.
Yeah. Thank you.
So enjoy your afternoon, and see you all next week Thursday, and in the drop-ins and in the gardening and in the training.
Yeah.
And tomorrow as well. Send the link to me.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.